Good morning, St. Francis in the Foothills. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Welcome to St. Francis in the Foothills United Methodist Church. My name is Mike Wilkerson, and I'm your pastor, and I hope that something said or done in this next hour is just going to bring you that much closer to God. If there's anybody here that's new for the first time or second or third, you want to let us know who you are, feel free to raise your hand or stand up and say hi. If you'd rather not, please at least come say hi to me on the front porch afterwards. We have a lot of really nice treats, so I'd love to talk to you. Happy Mother's Day. Yes. So we have a few announcements. First of all, for the Course in Miracles study group, that's going on at 11 o'clock after this service. They have a message that they're going to focus on today. Forgiveness offers everything I really want. It sparkles on my eyes as I awake and brings me joy to meet the day. It calms the private hell in my mind and offers me deep tranquility. A tranquil mind is not a little gift. So it's going to be in room 43 if you'd like to reflect upon that with the Course in Miracles study group. Also, there's an annual conference that you may have heard of. That's where all the churches in the conference, or it's a little bit of Arizona and all of Arizona, a little bit of Nevada. They come together once a year for the church. All the church has representatives. And one of the things that we do is a mission project for that. We have our own Reverend Deanna Self-Price here who's kind of spearheading that. And she is going to, I don't have the video today, we're going to show it to you next week. But the project is to help with food insecurities in the North District, which includes Las Vegas, where the conference is going to be. So I invite you to go to the website, the Desert Southwest website. I think you can access it from our website as well. And consider how you might help with this project, with donating food or resources or financial support for the food insecurity program. Also, we'd like to acknowledge there's a new pope. Yeah. So many thanks for all of the wonderful things that Pope Francis did. We acknowledge the wonderful directions that he has moved the church, and we offer all the blessings and goodwill for Pope Leo as he starts his service. Does anybody have a birthday this month? Yes. I invite you to stand if you'd like. And let's sing happy. Oh, I know, yeah, I do too. Yeah, I'm standing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Now, if you remember, please sign these blue books that are coming by at the end of the row. And let's take a moment to greet those who are going to be celebrating with us online over that camera. And stand as you are able to greet those who are going to be celebrating with you in this space. Oh, yeah. Welcome. attention for one moment. There's one thing I forgot to mention. This is mental health awareness. The school teachers are helping us. I'd like to acknowledge this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And part of this in mental health awareness, we have a fun moment provided by Seth.
And boy, is it fun. So the first thing I want to ask you this morning is, what did the mother spider say to the baby spider? You spend too much time on the web. Oh, come on, that was funny. And I'm just going to point out, too, Megan probably knows this more than the rest of you remember from motherhood, but cleaning the house with a little one in it is like brushing your teeth with Oreos. And in the words of the late, great Betty White, motherhood is hard. If it was easy, dads would do it.
There we are. Okay, I want to invite all of you to stand and sing along.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well their father's self did slowly go by. The
Try this simple test.
Sorry.
Sometimes, in this troubled world of ours, we forget that love is all around us. We imagine the worst of other people and withdraw into our own shells. But try this simple test. Stand still in any crowded place and watch people around you. Within a very short time, you will begin to see the love, and you will see it over and over. A young mother or father talking to their child, a couple laughing together as they walk by, an older man holding the door for a stranger. Small signs of love are everywhere. The more you look, the more you will see. Love is literally everywhere. We are surrounded by love. That's the test.
Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. This one knocked me to the ground. This one dropped me to my knees. Should have seen it coming, but it surprised me. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till my fire's all but gone, till I can carry on, carry on. In a state of true believers, on streets called us and them, it's gonna take some time till the world feels safe again. I will be your refuge, your haven in the storm. I will keep your embers warm when your fire's all but gone. I will remember and bring you sprigs of rosemary. Be your sanctuary till you can carry on. You can rest here in St. Francis, or with a circle of friends, or a quiet grove of trees, or between two bookends. We will be your refuge, your haven in the storm. We will keep your embers warm when your fire's all but gone. We will remember and bring you sprigs of rosemary. Be your sanctuary till you can carry on,
I have some helpers planted. So Megan and Elliot and Jamie and Maya, Evan, who's 11 plus 1. Can I get some help up here? And Shannon, okay. But not until I read the poem. So just come up here and hang out with me. All right. Judy, can I borrow your bifocals? Someone better get me some coffee. All right. Today is a heartfelt gathering as we honor and celebrate the expansive spirit of mothering, a sacred life-giving force, not bound by culture or gender even, identity or biology. Mothering's just what we do. It comes in many forms, those who nurture and guide, protect, support, nourish, uplift, and sometimes are just trying to get your kids out the door in the morning. Let's go, cowgirl up. So whether you are a parent or a caregiver or a teacher, a friend, or a quiet source of thanks, we celebrate you today. So we come together in gratitude for the wide and wonderful ways that mothering touches our lives and our communities. And so I'm going to celebrate by reading a little poem by Irma Bombeck. And you guys are going to do your thing. So, when the good Lord was creating mothers, they were into their sixth day of overtime. Yeah. The angel appeared and said, "You're doing a lot of fiddling around on this one." And God said, "Have you read the specs on this one? This order? They have to be completely washable, but with no plastic, 180 movable parts, all replaceable, run on black coffee and leftovers, have a lap that disappears when they stand up, and a kiss that can cure anything from the broken leg to a disappointed love affair." So many disappointed love affairs. And 6 pairs of hands. The angel shook its head and slowly said, 6 pairs of hands? No way. "It's not the hands that are causing me problems," God said. "It's the 3 pairs of eyes that mothers have to have." "That's on the standard model," the angel said. Yeah, yep. So 1 pair to see through closed doors. And when asked, "What are your kids doing in there?" when she already knows. Another in the back of her head, we all know those, that sees what she shouldn't, but has to know. And of course, the ones right here, front of the base. So when a child goofs up, those eyes say, "I understand. I love you. I love you so much," without ever uttering a word. God said, the angel, touching his sleeves, "Get some rest tomorrow." "Oh no, I can't. I'm so close to creating something so close to myself. Already I have one who heals herself when she is sick and can feed a family of 6 on 1 pound of hamburger and get a 9-year-old under the shower." And the angel circled the model of the mother and slowly, "It's a bit soft." "Oh," God said, "oh, it's so tough. You can imagine what this mother can do and endure." "Can it think?" said the angel. "Not only can it think, but it can reason and compromise." Finally, and the angel bent over and ran their fingers across the cheek. "There's a leak. I told you that you were trying to put too much into this model." "It's not a leak," said God. "It's a tear." "What is it for?" "It's for joy and sadness and disappointment and pain and loneliness and pride." "You're a genius," said the angel. And God soberly said, "I didn't put it there." Happy Mother's Day.
So in our Mother's Day moment today, we'd just like to also talk about the history or the origins a little bit of where Mother's Day has come from. Now, it came from in the United States through the efforts of many women who were advocates of peace and social justice. One of these women was Julia Ward Howe, who wrote a piece in 1870 called the Mother's Day Proclamation that urged mothers worldwide to come together for a Congress to stand up for peace in response to the wars of her day. So that was the wars of the Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War. In the opening paragraph, Ms. Howe writes, "Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether our baptism be that of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, women of one country, will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs." So eloquently said. So in 1872, Ms. Howe asked for a celebration of Mother's Day to be celebrated on June 2nd of each year, but it wasn't happening at that time. The modern Mother's Day celebration that we have came from the work of Anna Jarvis, some 36 years later, who did this in memory of her mom, Anne Reeves Jarvis, who worked with Ms. Howe. So while this day was established, was different in significance from what Ms. Howe had proposed, Anna Jarvis was very happy that she was able to connect with Ms. Howe through her mother. So if a part of today's celebration for Mother's Day, we would like to acknowledge with gratitude and the wisdom and determination of our foremothers who fought for peace and the sanctity of life. May we continue to remember the work of all the women who raised their voices to challenge violence and support decency.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Girls have picked them, every one. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to break us, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn?
In acknowledgement of Mental Health Awareness Month, and as part of that team here at church, I have the privilege of reading to you a letter of appreciation and gratitude from one of our members who chooses to remain anonymous, but who wants to give a testimony for their journey and for what we have meant. I want to thank the wonderful, loving people of St. Francis for helping me to heal. I have been classified as seriously mental ill or SMI, since I was 21 years old. I, or as are most people defined as being seriously mentally ill, can usually successfully manage our mental health with the correct prescribed medications. I have been on psych medications since I was 18 years old, and am now in my mid-40s. In 2016, I developed nodules on my thyroid and a high white blood count that made me physically ill. I was becoming progressively sicker. It was determined that the nodules and high white blood count were a side effect of the psych medication that I'd been taking for several years. I was stable on that medication, living a healthy lifestyle in my own apartment and involved in the community. I knew changing medications could be very, very difficult, and sometimes it took many tries to find the right drug or combination of drugs in order to stable someone such as me. Long story short, I was hospitalized for over half of 2017 in various hospitals in Tucson. My doctors tried different primary medications changes, and none were successful. I decomp very quickly when I'm taken off medication, and I had one psychotic break after another. When my doctors took me off of each medication that wasn't working to try another one, I decompensated after each with a psychotic break before having the time to recover from the last breakdown. It was horrible. Finally, my doctors put me on a psych drug that worked. Unfortunately, the side effect of the drug is that it seriously compromises immune systems. So many people have died from minor infections, turning into life-threatening infections, that there is a federal law that a person must get a blood test every 2 to 4 weeks, confirming that they have no sign of infection in their body prior to this prescription being filled. After being discharged from the hospital, I spent the next 6 months in a small facility in Eloy, recovering. Luckily, the people running the facility knew the one thing that made all the difference in the world for a person like me to begin the healing process. It is love and caring interactions with caregivers and others. Studies have shown that love and caring interactions contribute immensely to healing, and this is especially true for mentally ill people. When I returned to Tucson from Eloy, I could not take care of my basic needs. I had lost my ability to perform many basic skills, and my short-term memory had declined as a result of the multiple breakdowns. Luckily, I was placed in an adult foster care with a family that was full of love, and taking care of 3 seriously mentally ill women was their avocation. It wasn't an easy transition. The horrible consecutive breakdowns created a new mental health issue. It was post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. I was afraid of everything. Slowly, I began to trust my loving caregivers and started the next steps in my recovery. I could play with their young grandchildren for hours, and we would color and play with toys. My mother would take me to the grocery store, and it took a couple of years to finally walk down a store aisle alone where I couldn't see my mother. My social worker insisted that I go to a day program outside my home. I was terrified to go in a small bus that picked me up at my new home and drove me back and forth to my day program. After a few years back in Tucson, my mother suggested that I go with her to St. Francis. I was very self-conscious and afraid of social interaction and what people would think of me. My mother invited me again and again and encouraged me to try St. Francis just once. I finally did and couldn't say much more than hello. And at that time, I didn't smile much either. But the more I attended St. Francis, the safer I felt, and the more relaxed I became at St. Francis. I started to have weekly conversations at the hospitality table with different folks. I joined my parents at Le Buzz after the church brunch with people from St. Francis and decided I wanted to become a member. I was one of the all that was welcome at St. Francis. I had a loving community that accepted me exactly the way I was and didn't judge me. This unconditional love and support has allowed me to feel safer and positively impacted my whole life. Love and acceptance are vital components of any effective mental health treatment. The wonderful, loving people at St. Francis helped me, helped my recovery from the trauma of 10 consecutive psychotic breakdowns with their unconditional, non-judgmental acceptance and love. Today I have friends at St. Francis. I smile a lot, I laugh deeply, and I often give hugs. Thank you, St. Francis. I love each and every one of you.
ancestors, we are the Spirit of God. If you haven't done it already, I suggest you take a big breath and let it go and let everything else go with it. And hand it all over to God and let Him take care of the future. Join me in that. God. You're the creator of life, the creator of love. In this world of uncertainty and change, you are forever offering us a home of constant peace and joy beyond anything our world can give. On this Mother's Day, we're grateful for the glimpses that we've had of what mother love can look like. We've lived with love and safety with our moms. Many of us have experienced the reflection of that love that you offer. But for some others, we've had a lot of substitutes for moms that meant our dads, our aunts, grandparents, foster parents, neighbors. They've been there for us. Some of us have even had emotionally damaged mothers or overworked moms or absent mothers. But under it all, always, you have been there with us and for us, whether we knew it or not. And for those who are or have been mothers, we're grateful for all the work and devotion for the most important job on earth. Filling in, loving, guiding, and keeping us safe as you could in a culture that is really full of dangerous exits and petty detours. And we still appreciate your continuing presence in making this society more sane and more humane. We're all called to quit settling for smallness, to remember our true selves as you've created us, mere images of your compassion, with nothing to fear. For we share your holiness. It's also ours. In fact, this bothers me. It's everybody's. There are no exceptions. Oh God, I'm so busy with making exceptions and rating people and then counting up how many faults they have. I need to stop going with my ego as my first reaction. And I guess I'm not alone in hoping I can do that. I need to think, whoa, will that really add up to my happiness or to anybody else's happiness? I remember how I was struck by a saying from the Buddha, all that we are is a result of what we thought. Boy, I need to ask Spirit, hey, how it sees things and get its take on how to seek what I should be doing. We are all either going with the ego in instant response or we're questioning. One to the other. Spirit, Will this make me or others more happy or not? A voice for God is a part of us all. God walks with us, is in our thinking and in our actions wherever we are. Closer than our breathing, we have a guide. And maybe, if I pay more attention to listening, I'll like others better and maybe like myself more. Maybe someday we'll all begin to see that you really did make us all to share in your holiness and in your sacredness. And that's who we really are. And nothing can ever change what we are. Thank you for that. Help me remember to see myself and see everyone else in that kind of light. Let's let it happen. Jesus did, and he calls us to join him in it. So be it. Amen.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Sing with me. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Today's scripture is an adaptation of Psalm 23, not the one we learned when we were children. God is my shepherd, I shall not want. She makes me lie down in green pastures. She leads me beside still waters. She restores my soul. She leads me in right paths for her name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God my whole life long.
Would you pray with me? Gracious and loving God, make your message of love and trust settle into our hearts this morning so that we might find comfort in your presence. Amen. Finding comfort. Our passage today, Psalm 23, is one of the most well-known writings in the Bible. But it's typically presented in a different way than we are today. First, you may have noticed the gender reference of God is feminine this time. Most interpretations of this Hebrew writing assume a masculine gender, but it's essential to remember that the gender assignment of God is a cultural artifact. God has no gender. Or we might say that God spans all genders. Since this is Mother's Day, if you don't mind, I'd like to use the feminine pronouns to highlight the maternal character of God in today's message. Another difference you'll see for this presentation of Psalm 23, or this discussion of it, is that we're talking today about life, not death. Usually Psalm 23 is read at memorials, funerals, graveside services. But today we'll reflect on this passage in terms of the context in which it was most likely written. A shepherding community in the Middle East several thousand years ago. With this in mind, one of the things that you'll notice in Psalm 23 is that it's a song of trust. It starts by declaring God to be the shepherd of the author. Now, the Psalms often talk about God, but they talk about God in terms of the community and the community's relationship. But in this psalm, the author declares God as my shepherd. This highlights a personal relationship with God, who is seen as a compassionate, caring leader. In ancient Near Eastern cultures, compassionate kings were often referred to as shepherds. So the author starts this passage by expressing their appreciation for the way that God has led them. So continuing on with the imagery of shepherding, the following verses really convey a gratitude for the way that God provides for them. She makes me lie down in green pastures. She leads me beside still waters. She restores my soul. She leads me in right paths for her name's sake. In a shepherding community, these statements paint a picture of a good shepherd who offers sufficient provisions. Lying down in a green pasture only happens when there's adequate food. Leading beside still waters implies finding conditions that allow the sheep to keep their footing so they can safely drink as much water as they need. And being led down the right path suggests that the flock is guided in a way that's further away from the dangerous circumstances. Now, these are all vital traits that enable a flock to flourish, and they represent ideal maternal instincts that are seen throughout creation. For example, after laying an egg, a mother emperor penguin will leave it with the male to protect it while she goes off to forage for food, up to 50 miles away. And then eventually she'll make it back where she'll take the food that she's gathered and then feed it to her chicks when she returns. Another example is the case of mother cheetahs. Mother cheetahs are known to move their cubs to a different den every 4 days. This prevents a buildup of a scent that could attract predators. So these prudent moves are challenging for them, but they help ensure the survival of her cubs. This is one way of thinking about the psalmist's statement that God restores their soul. God keeps them alive. The psalmist then goes on to talk about the confidence that they gain from being able to trust God. Even in their darkest hour, they have no fear because they know that the Good Shepherd is watching after them. The Good Shepherd offers comfort or protection. Interestingly, the phrase, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, is more literally interpreted as, goodness and mercy shall pursue me all the days of my life. So rather than being pursued by enemies with an ill intent, the psalmist perceives goodness and mercy is pursuing them because of the good work of that good shepherd. These works of the Good Shepherd, providing, protecting, comforting, and encouraging, they're all things that we would expect from the ideal mother figure. Some of us received most of these things from our mothers, while some of us didn't, perhaps. In fact, most of us probably didn't experience all of them from our biological mothers because that's the nature of ideals, right? They're hypothetical conditions that one person cannot realistically be able to provide continuously. Consequently, this is a good reason to foster community. When the mother or the central maternal figure of the family becomes inundated with their own life challenges, someone else can step in and provide maternal support for them. Maybe an aunt, a grandmother, a family friend, or even a father figure who steps up to offer maternal support. A nurturing community can be tremendously impactful for the children who are present. Again, let's look at nature. How does nature work with this? A good example are the African elephants and how the herd helps take care of each other's calves. When a baby elephant is born, the mother who gave birth is not really the one who solely teaches them how to stand up and how to nurse. It's the other elephants in the herd that encourage the newborn to rise up, to get up, and provide instruction on how to nurse, to be sustained. The calf learns how to survive in the ways of the herd, not solely from their biological mother, but from also the other members of the herd. Now, you also may have noticed I suggested that a father figure can provide maternal care. Now, while on average, I admit, women are more gifted with the nurturing characteristics attributed to motherhood, everyone, regardless of gender, though, has traits that enable them to provide maternal care. We can all be nurturing people who offer that motherhood experience that our children need. And we see it in the changing characteristics of what we call a family today. Granted, traditionally, mothers have been associated with a particular situation, but family identities have been changing for quite a while now. Some families have 2 moms or 2 dads. Some have a single mom or a single dad. And some children are raised by various people as they move through governmental social systems. This is why the people that we choose to honor today on Mother's Day can be quite diverse. Motherhood deserves a special day of recognition, even if we feel we haven't benefited from it in the ways that we maybe think we should have. Motherhood can be difficult, especially when mom is saddled with insecurities and compounded by unreasonable expectations. And some aren't prepared for that role when it's thrust upon them. So granted, there are cases when mothers are abusive and relationships with their children can be severely strained. But if it's possible and considered healthy, offering grace and seeking reconciliation may be the best way to celebrate Mother's Day. So as we celebrate our moms and maternal figures today, let's also consider how can we foster a deeper appreciation for motherhood in general. Let's find ways of encouraging a nurturing attitude in our culture that diligently seeks peace in the world and speaks truth to power. Let's find ways of building a supportive community that looks out for the well-being of the most vulnerable in our midst. Let's create a safe environment where all God's children are encouraged to pursue their dreams and love wholeheartedly. By building upon the work of our matriarchs of old, we can make this world a much better place for generations to come. As we've seen from our reflection on Psalm 23, this is really a matter of promoting the same loving care that we all enjoy from God. When we follow the example of God as the Good Shepherd, we express the ideal characteristics of motherhood that we yearn for in our families. May each of us be comforted by the divine love of Mother God. And may we share this love with others so that regardless of our life circumstances or situations, we'll always be able to find comfort when we need it the most. Amen.
Come the love of the Spirit of God, to be light for all people, to live in the freedom of the city of God. We are called to act justice. We are called to love tenderly. We are called to serve one another, to walk humbly with God.
May you experience the love and peace of Christ as you go forward, and may this loving, nurturing essence that comes from God fill your hearts. May we share this love with all those who we encounter as we go forth. Amen.
Thanks, everybody.